Hello everyone, this is Tina from FriedaFriemel, and today I'm going to show you how to make your own book cloth with different types of glue. The first, of course, is methyl cellulose, 4% solution we made in the last video. The second one will be watered down PVA glue. This is bookbinders glue. I have some prepared already. And heavily watered down Mod Podge. We're trying to make book cloth with and without paper. First, let's see how this works without the paper backing. Just taking one. You have to live with this reflection because we need a glass plate for this. And no, this is no advertisement video. This glass craft mat actually was the cheapest solution to replace my destroyed glass plate. So yes, you have to live with the reflection and with this. I didn't want to glue, to put a strip of tape on there because I need the whole space. So let's see. For the book cloth without paper backing, I'm using a round glue brush. Yes, this looks a lot like an how do you call it? Acrylic paint? I don't know. A brush for painting wood, but it is a bit more sturdy. Not that sturdy like a glue brush for wood glue. It's somewhere in between. I prefer the round shape because I don't have to worry where I last had brushed on with which side I last had brushed on the glue. So first, I'd say we use the watered down Mod Podge. If I can open it. Ooh, I don't use this that much. Yes, I've shaken it already. You might want to stir or shake it a bit. These containers are actually perfect for shaking. I think we start over here and put a little. Yes, I think you can see this. It's really, really liquidish. So let's put a bit glue on here. I'm trying not to stretch the fabric to any side. It's not that easy, but on your glass plate the glue won't stick that much, and you will be able, the fabric will be able to pull and get back to its actual form. So first, this is our Mod Podge. Second, I have to wash my brush before I use another kind of glue. Second, I'd say we use the watered down bookbinders glue, the PVA glue, just PVA glue with water and again brushing on top of my fabric and covering the brand somehow. Like so. There you go. I bought a new glass plate for this, but you could also use any glass plate or smooth surface you have at hand. Maybe you have a glass cutting board. You could use this. I think this could actually work too with a somewhat rough glass board. I've made some book cloth years ago on a ceramic hub. Worked perfectly fine. And no, I didn't destroy this hub. So let's see, what else do we have? Oh yes, I wanted to show you the difference between the PVA, the watered PVA, and the PVA mixed with methyl cellulose. I'm using a ratio roughly, let's say, 3 parts. Oh, we need a bit more liquid. 2 parts of PVA, 3 parts of methyl cellulose. Two parts PVA. Now I have to wash the spoon. I'll be back soon. So, back with a clean spoon. Let's close this. And 3 parts of methyl cellulose. The bonus of the craft kitchen is it is actually a kitchen. And I have a sink directly here to my left side. This is so perfect. 2 and 3 spoons. Like so. So now we need a tool for stirring. Here you go. Might take a while. It's still too thick, I think. Normally I don't use PVA and MC for this, so I don't know exactly what ratio I need for this. Okay, I think I'll put in another spoon of MC. So we have 2 to 4 means 1 to 2 parts, like so. Let's see if this is enough. Yeah, this might work. Maybe, yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Closing the jar. And now putting the glue on the fabric. I kind of dab it on because it's a very thick mixture. Well, the movement is a mix of dabbing and brushing, exactly. Stay. Yes. Now that we have this, we are using the methyl cellulose, 4%, you remember? 4% of methyl cellulose powder by weight, and 96%, yeah, washing the brush. I love my craft kitchen. 4% of methyl cellulose powder and 96% water, and then you have a glue paste. Yes, I actually used wallpaper paste powder for this because these days methyl cellulose in smaller quantities is not exactly cheap, because it is used by pro cooks instead of starch. Ooh, stay. It is not digestible, so I wouldn't recommend to eat it, but they're using it for all kind of puddings and such. Well, not my cup of coffee. Okay, now we will wait for this to dry and prepare the paper-backed fabric as well. So first I have sewing pattern paper. This actually has no direction, which is perfect for my use. I didn't test this. It's stretching in this direction. Most fabrics are stretching in any direction, even if they're cross woven. You should look after the paper too. Most papers have a direction. It's easy to find out in which direction the paper will bend. Topic for another video. This paper has no direction. I've tested it. If you rip it, it will, I don't know, make crooked rips. Doesn't matter the direction. Again. So before I glue the paper, I'll spray the fabric the tiniest bit with water to give it the chance to expand a bit. This is too wet. Let me dry this a bit. There you go. Yes, like so. I want this right. Yeah. It's the tiniest bit damp because my paper is really, really fragile. I'm going to use a softer brush for this, so that I don't rip the fibers of the paper, hopefully not. The first step will be to glue this on with Mod Podge. Again, watered down. Let's see if I can. Yes, this might work somehow. Ooh. Not too much glue. Don't want to soak it completely. And you start from the middle, because paper always expands to the edges. And by starting to put on the glue from the middle, you're giving the paper the chance to hold the fibers together and not rip. I'm always brushing the tiniest bit over the edges, because when you stop here, the chance, not with this paper, there's a slight chance you might pull your paper and it will wrinkle. So now you take your paper, lay it flat over your fabric, like so. Cleanse your fingers. And now I'm using a piece of baking paper and a brayer to flatten this. And press. First, flatten it out. And then give it a slight press. We don't want to rip the paper. You also could use, don't know, copy paper for this. This would make your book cloth much more sturdy and thicker, but I think this might be okay. I need a bit more space here. This glass mat actually is the tiniest bit smaller than my last glass plate. I destroyed it because I placed my iron on the glass plate. It was a bit unfocused. Happens. I have no idea if this glass plate is heat proof. Couldn't find any verifications for this. And I'm not going to try this because I found out glass plates are actually very, very expensive. This was on sale. I was lucky. If I had bought a simple glass board for a bookshelf, I would have paid double the price. So again spraying the fabric, the tiniest bit. Stay down. Okay. And now I forgot to water my brush. Sorry for the noise. Let's close the Mod Podge. So, and the water bottle. So now I'm using the methyl cellulose paste, which is a bit thicker than the Mod Podge. Again, there you had it. Look, stopping here, and I will pull the paper. If you brush over the edges, this can't happen. The methyl cellulose paste is a bit thicker than my watered down Mod Podge. I'd say I'd used, don't know, like a 50-50 ratio maybe. I always water down my Mod Podge because you don't need it. Ooh, that thick. Okay, so let's put on the baking paper. Okay, and gently pull down and press, slightly press. You don't want to rip the paper. So then I'll be back when all this is dry, and we'll have a look at the outcome together. So now let's have a look at the outcome. We had watered down Mod Podge, watered down PVA glue, in this case bookbinder's glue, PVA glue with methyl cellulose mix, 1 part PVA, 2 parts methyl cellulose, and methyl cellulose, a mix of 4%. With none of these fabric pieces we've used any kind of paper. I think we'll start with the Mod Podge. This took 3 hours to completely dry. I don't know if you can see this. Yeah, you can. A huge amount of the glue has seeped through the fabric. It is dry, but it has some tiny little spots on here. Maybe you can see this. This has been the matte Mod Podge, the Mod Podge with the matte finish. I assume, yeah, it's a little bit shiny. I assume with the glossy Mod Podge, it would have been shiny all over. This is where most of the glue has seeped through. If you lay this on here, you can see it. Some tiny spots, a big spot, and it sounds like paper. It's very, very sturdy, not flexible at all. Here we have the watered down PVA. Took 2 hours to dry. There. The surface of the backside is slightly rough, I think. Doesn't make any difference. Whereas the front is still very soft. But The glue also has seeped through the fabric. There you can see it a bit. There you have the shiny dried glue. This is natural because almost every PVA glue dries clear and with a shiny finish. But I think it is less sturdy than the Mod Podge. There. Still bendable, well bendable, and not that much glue has seeped through here. You can see it a little bit. Ooh, sorry. Then we have the PVA and methyl cellulose mix. This took 3 hours to dry. Same as Mod Podge. The back side is rough and the front is very soft. Let me see. No seeping through. Well, there was a bit seeping through, of course, but there are no shiny spots at all. Looks still like fabric. And sounds like some kind of thicker plastic foil, I'd say. And here we have the pure methyl cellulose glue, 4%. Took 3.5 hours. This was the glue with the most water. The back is, yeah, I'd say very firm, but not rough at all. You still could tell that this is fabric, and the front is soft. The front still feels like fabric, and sounds also like plastic, but from what I can feel now, it is a bit more bendable than the PVA mixture. Here we had another fabric backed with paper, watered down Mod Podge and methyl cellulose paste. Both. Now, the Mod Podge took 3 hours to dry, and the methyl cellulose 3.5 hours. On both, the paper is really fast attached to the glass plate. Let me see. Yeah. With the methyl cellulose, I can pull the paper off of the glass plate. Let's see if I can do this here. No, this rips. I can't just pull it off. Let me see. Another spot. Oh yeah, here you go. But by doing so, I'm also ripping it off from the edges of the fabric. So in this case, I'll use a cutter and cut around my piece of fabric, like so. There you go. Let me tear this off a bit more. And then I try to find a spot where I can place the knife underneath the fabric and pull it off the glass mat. So now the edges are not really glued, not firmly glued, like you can see here. Sounds good. Sounds like a back piece of cloth. And the front is still soft, but I don't know if you can see this. Yeah, you can. This is either the PVA in the Mod Podge or the included varnish. Was seeping through too much here. Here has been more glue than here. Also more glue than here. The fabric has soaked it and it has dried on the glass plate. Let me see if yeah, there you can see it. This actually is the Mod Podge, the dried Mod Podge. It seems matte on here, but the fabric is much more matte than the glue could be, so it seems to be a bit shiny on here. And here, with the methyl cellulose, you could pull, no, doesn't work either. You could pull off the paper completely. So, again, cutting around the fabric. Let's see if I can get under this. Yes. I have to tear it a bit. Oh, let me tear this off to demonstrate. I can't. Afterwards. I'll tear this off afterwards. Like so. This is the spot where I pulled off. You could pull it off completely. Like so. Yeah. This is the back side of the fabric. Well, it is still very, very sturdy. And the front is absolutely soft. Actually, this is what I was wondering about. This piece of fabric is still the touch of this piece of fabric still is the same like it was before I glued it down. This is a bit more fluffy, which means the fibers in the fabric have soaked up the glue and expanded a bit. Same thing happened here. Almost feels like velvet. Not this. This is, yeah, this too. This too. And this still feels like it felt before. So now you can see, no shining there. Okay. Of course, because the methyl cellulose paste dries matte. So let me see. Yeah, you could tear this off completely, which means there you can see you can use this paste. Oh. For thinning your PVA glue, for example, or you could use it to glue it on paper, which would itself be glued down on greyboard. This piece of cloth is a bit softer than the pure methyl cellulose, but you could bend it like paper. It wouldn't be much of a problem to glue this on greyboard. If you'd leave the backing paper on this, I just pulled it off for demonstration, I surely would leave it on. The glue would penetrate the greyboard, your cover, and this paper, and less so the fabric. I don't know if you can see this. I need something you could see. Actually, you could see through this. Yeah, you can see it a little bit. Yeah, there you can see it. Here, blue. Ooh. You can see the reflection through the fabric. So this means the threads of the fabric are not exactly close together, and therefore the paper would provide another, the paper would provide another layer to stick on for the glue, and then this is two, and then you could just glue it and take your bone folder, whatever, and press it on your cover. As I said, Mod Podge, I don't think Mod Podge is the best idea for this. Even the matte finish has these shiny spots. We've glued this on with our face down. We've glued this face down on our glass mat, and you still can see some ugly spots. If you'd use Mod Podge to glue even matte finish Mod Podge, if you glued this to your cover, brushing the cover with glue, then laying your fabric on it, and then trying to somehow even it, to burnish it, the glue would come through, and these are the ugly stains. This finish it provides, either glue or varnish, doesn't matter. This are the ugly spots. In our case, this has been pressed to the surface, so it could, this is really smooth here, it could spread, and therefore is less visible. We've also glued this down, but there are no spots. If you'd use PVA, watered down PVA, you would have the same effect like with your Mod Podge. And if you glued your fabric down with PVA and methyl cellulose, it wouldn't be so shiny, because you would use more methyl cellulose, drying matte, and a bit of PVA to give it more adhesiveness. I don't know the word. You know what I mean. The lightest outcome of these is the methyl cellulose paste backed with paper, whereas this is a bit more sturdy. This is just methyl cellulose there, and this is the backing. Still sounds like a very sturdy fabric with the coated with those chemicals they put on there to prevent stains in the shop. Don't know what it's called, but it sounds like this and it feels a bit like this. So I prefer methyl cellulose. Sometimes, yes, I use PVA and methyl cellulose mixture. Mod Podge really is no option for me, because this is so sturdy. You can't even fluff the edges. They are so pokey. Here the edges are firm too, but a bit bendable. Like here, these are actually very short, but still fabric fibers. So now we have this mess here. Let me show this. Let me show how to remove this. As I said, PVA is completely water soluble and therefore water reversible. Okay, I think we could just pull off, yeah, the methyl cellulose paste in with PVA. I think with pure PVA this wouldn't work, I think. And thus I use a glue bottle with water to water the edges down a bit, or you could use water in a spray bottle, getting more messy, and just like so. Yep. Let it soak for about 1 minute. While the paper is soaking up the water, I'm spraying the rest of the glass mat. To get ready to clean it. So. Now I have this glass surface scraper. I don't know what it's called in English. You use it to clean your ceramic hub, for example. Pull out securing button, and then you have here some kind of razor blade. Of course you could use a razor blade one side, on the other side maybe, don't know, some kind of glue tape, like masking tape for example. And then you just can remove your wet paper from the glass mat, like so, in one move. If you don't have this, you could also wait a bit longer and then just rub the paper off. Now I'm using my trusted rag to just remove all the glue, all the different kinds of glue on here. Works with every glass mat, not just with this fancy one. It's no special, yeah, it's exactly, it is special glass. It's hardened glass, but that doesn't matter. It's only hardened to have more, to provide more absorbance, shock absorbance. Let me see, there you can see. These flakes are the dried glue on this glass surface, and this is what makes the stains on your fabric covers. So putting the glue on your fabric first and then let it dry and then put it on your cover is always the better choice. Yeah, it takes a bit of time to dry. I don't know, 3, 4, 5, like maybe 6 hours, maybe. But your book will look more nice, more professional, if you want this. And this method prevents you from having these ugly spots. So now we have methyl cellulose paste. We could pull off the backing. We have Mod Podge with backing and stains. We have PVA and no, let me see. Yeah, PVA and methyl cellulose mixture. Here we have Mod Podge. I don't have to think about this. This is methyl cellulose pure and this is PVA watered. So dearies, it is always a good idea to choose the right glue for your project and glue your fabric first, let it dry, and then put it on your cover because it is more sturdy. You don't have that much of a problem with the enlarging of the fabric, and when you choose the right glue, the right method, you end up with the touch of the fabric and no stains. So yeah, just take some little pieces of fabric and try it out. Try it out at home. Maybe it would work with gel medium matte. Matte. Also, haven't tried this yet. Try it. Find your own solution. And now you might have an explanation for the spots and can avoid them. Dearies, as always, stay crafty, make something beautiful and stay excellent to each other. Till next time, bye!